Sahana bhavatu sahanau gunatu sah viryam karavavahai tejasvinavagitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om. So, namaste everyone. So, welcome you all for this wonderful faculty development program organized by School of Yoga Therapy. Now, I just invite our Vice Principal, Professor Meena Ramanathan ma'am, to give a brief intro about the FDP and the SBV School of Yoga Therapy plus ISCM activities regarding the International Day of Yoga Festival. Yeah, now I invite ma'am.
Namaste and Vanakkam. Such a pleasure to be meeting you all through this International Faculty Development Program. It's a privilege for me being the Vice Principal of the School of Yoga Therapy of the Institute of Salutogenesis and Complementary Medicine of Sri Balaji Vidyapeeth. I can see so many familiar faces here, all eminent faculty who will be also presenting in our FDP. So a quick walk through what School of Yoga Therapy is all about. Yeah. So Sri Balaji Vidyapeeth, Healthcare University, started this yoga therapy way back in 2010 through the Center for Yoga Therapy Education and Research, what was called as CITER, which is now upgraded into the School of Yoga Therapy under the purview of the Institute of Salutogenesis and Complementary Medicine in August 22. And we are very, very happy, immensely proud to say that School of Yoga Therapy is an associate member of the Indian Yoga Association of New Delhi, as well as the only university-based yoga therapy school in India to have received the member school status of IAYT USA. So the main focus of School for Yoga Therapy, helping patients recover through yoga therapy by integrating the traditional aspects of yoga as with the modern medicine. As we are in the healthcare setup, this has been, we are very, very fortunate to have this facility available for us. Educating future yoga therapists because they need to be prepared to handle, yoga as a part of the integrative medicine. So that is our second focus. And the third focus, scientifically researching the hows and whys through qualitative and quantitative activities of research. All our students of the constituent colleges of SBV are exposed to yoga training. The innovative focus of the School of Yoga Therapy is on salutogenesis, where the concept of health promotion, disease prevention, and the management are focused upon. With international interest in its activities, the School of Yoga Therapy strives to serve as a nodal center for setting such integrative healthcare centers across the globe. And our cultural heritage yoga has been able to reach both the classes and the masses of our society optimally, effectively, as well as holistically. Our gratitude to the management and administration of SBV, a special word of thanks to our Chancellor, Shri M.K. Rajgopalan sir, for his far-sighted vision to have organized this, yoga therapy in a medical curriculum. A short curtain raiser for the 9th International Day of Yoga, IDY 2023. So from the School of Yoga Therapy, we have a month-long series of events to highlight IDY 2023. And all this is as per the guidelines offered by UGC and the Ministry of Ayush. Ever since 2015, ever since the inception of the International Day of Yoga, we at SBV have been celebrating it in a grand manner. And this year, I'm so proud and honored and happy to be sharing the list of events across to you all. From today, we are starting with the International Faculty Development Program on Yoga Therapy in healthcare and educational setting, which will go up to the 15th of June. This will be happening every Tuesday and Thursday between 10:30 and 12:30. And apart from this, we also have a few more programs. 29th of May to the 31st, we have the SBV Yoga Fest, where we are planning to conduct yoga quiz competitions, yoga essay competitions, and a regional level yogasana competition for the SBV students as well as for the regional students of Puducherry. And on 16th of June, we have a grand Yoga Mahotsav, wherein, we'll be, it's a spectacular site where a group demonstration of the common yoga protocol at the Promenade beach of Pondicherry will be happening. And as a final, grand finale, 16th and 17th of June, we have a national conference wherein you have an array of events to be happening. So wishing you all happy viewing, and stay with us, stay tuned with us. And throughout this whole month, we will keep informing you. We are inviting you to participate in all our activities. Namaste and thank you. Let's all have a great day.
Thank you, ma'am, for the wonderful introduction of our events. Now I invite our director of ISCM, Institute of Salutogenesis and Complementary Medicine, to give a welcome address. Sir, please.
Namaste, Vanakkam, Swagatam, Bonjour, Buongiorno, Buonasera, Buonanotte, Kuyamore, Boreda, Kiyora, Salamat Pagi, Ayu Bovan, Ayushman Baba, Shubdinam Suprabhat. Welcome to all our distinguished faculty members, our dear audience who have joined this event today. Such a great day where we are all coming together in one place at one time for one purpose, which is yoga. I would like to welcome our most honorable Vice-Chancellor, sir, who is giving us the inspiration, motivation, and support. Our most respected Dr. Biswas ji, who has joined in the past few months as our Vice-Chancellor, and he's hit the ground running right from the beginning, supporting all our activities of salutogenesis, music therapy, yoga therapy. As such an honor, sir, to have you as our Vice-Chancellor, and that today, sir, will be giving us the inaugural address. Namaste, sir. Such a pleasure to have you with us. I would like to welcome our Director of the Ayush in Pondicherry, the IS. Years. Such a pleasure to have you, sir, despite your meetings with the government at this time. We thank you, sir, for being with us and welcome you to this event. I would like to welcome one of my own mentors, Dr. Selvamurthy ji, who is currently a chancellor in the Amity University. He is in charge of all the amazing research activities. And for the last 40 years, I have been blessed to have your blessings, sir, from the time you were in Biswas in Delhi, and my father and mother used to come there. And sir's work of taking yoga into the armed forces. At Siachen Glacier, if we have yoga, it is because of sir. And amazing work, including in essential hypertension, how the head down positions can reset your baroreflex mechanisms. Amazing work. And sir is such a personification of humility despite his greatness. And he was a dear friend of our former People's President, Dr. AGP Abdul Kalamji. We welcome you, sir, to this event. Our speaker for today will be joining us, Dr. Srinivasan ji, who has a distinguished career right from the days in IIT and then going abroad to USA, coming back to being
Namaste.
in Namaste sir, and now in Chennai. Again, someone I consider my mentor. I have a good list of illustrious mentors, and sir is one of those, always supporting us, and today is going to be giving the address today. Along with that, our eminent experts like Yogacharya Jnanadev, all the way there in Wales and Portugal, Professor Ingen Hagen from the Norwegian University, with whom we have an MOU, thanks to her efforts, and all the rest of the team who are here, my own ISCM team, Dr. Shobana, Dr. Meena, Dr. Balaji, Dayanidhi, Janita, Ona, and others. Such a pleasure to welcome you all on this occasion and kickstart this event. As Dr. Sridharan Rajappa sir has an engagement with the ministry, I request him to start off the proceedings with his felicitation address. Such an honor to have you, sir, with us. Over to you, sir.
Okay, sir. Namaste. Sir, audible, sir?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, very good morning. Respected to all the participants of the today program. Thank you for inviting me to facilitate the program on international faculty development on yoga therapy. My sincere thanks to Dr. Balaji sir and Veena ma'am for giving this great opportunity to share my ideas about the yoga day. So the School of Yoga Therapy under the ISCM of Balaji Vidyapeeth is taking effective steps to promote and create the awareness throughout the world with various ways. Hope the online seminar will be very useful for the enrich the knowledge to the students of medical, non-medicals, and other participants. I wish congrats the Salutogenesis and the ISCM team. The online seminar will be very useful and to grand success. Very thank you, sir. Finally, just I want to share you that is ISM department is very much interested to coordinate with your all activities. Even if you are interested, we can MOE with your your institutions to create more awareness among the rural peoples through ISC materials, other things. We are ready, and we are sorry, sir, I am busy with some other meeting. I am ready to move to meet the secretary for our International Yoga Day celebration, sir. Please excuse me. Please just I want to leave. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, sir, for your kind blessings. And we will hold you to your word and seek official MOU with the government of Puducherry, Department of ISM, and we'll definitely work together to further the cause of the Ayush system, sir.
One more thing, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So,
Access one of the state from Karnataka, they have adopted a full entire village. They completely entire village. They are starting from the morning to evening. They are practicing yoga. That is any people, even farmers, agriculture people, office boys, the student, everybody is all the whole people are taking yoga for well-being, so that we can adopt with the support of your institution and the ISM department. Nearby village, we can identify this. Identify, we can take up the issues, and we will support all ISM materials and manpower also. You want as a resource is there. So just we want to try with a small village, we can take up and fruitful result we can show to the Ministry of Ayush. But this is my option, sir. Just we are ready to MOU with you, sir. Ready. I am going to speak regarding this to the Secretary of Health now. Then we will take up the issue, sir. Yeah?
Thank you, sir. Such a pleasure. We'll take this idea up.
Right, sir. Thank you, sir.
With the guidance of our management and administration, we'll definitely take it forward.
Yes,
thank
sir.
you so much, sir, for being with us despite the busy schedule.
Definitely, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. I would like to request Dr. Selvamurthy, sir, to say a few words of felicitation on this occasion.
Thank you, Dr. Ananda. First of all, my salutation to all the very distinguished yoga proponents, scientists, teachers, trainers, therapists, and all the very distinguished guests who have gathered over here. I have known Dr. Ananda from his childhood when he was a small kid. I used to visit Geetananda Ashram, and when Swami Geetananda ji, Bhavani ji, they were all there looking after this kid growing. I have seen his growth, and also as a MBBS doctor, I have seen him. I have evaluated his thesis work for PhD. So I have a very close association. So I mainly came to bless you and all the people connected with your Balaji Vidyapeeth and also this Salutogenesis Institute, which you have started. And you are rendering a yeoman service to the society. So my compliments to you. And also I welcome also the Vice-Chancellor, the new Vice-Chancellor, Dr. Biswas. And it's a great institution with Balaji Vidyapeeth. We have signed an MOU with Amity Universities, Amity group of institutions. And we also have Amity Institute of Indian Systems of Medicine, which is also running academic programs, research programs, services, training. So we would like to expand, deepen our relationship with your institute, Biswas and also Ananda. And I was very happy to listen to the whole purpose and objective of this FDP program, which you are hosting here, because this activity is very important, because there should be always a continuous education for even the therapist, educationalists, researchers like us, that we have to learn till last breath. So the faculty development program is a great initiative to keep on upgrading our skills, knowledge, broadening our horizon. So again, compliments to the organizers for this initiative. And you are also commemorating with the International Day of Yoga, because Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji has given to the world and taken in a very formal way to the United Nations and celebrating the International Day of Yoga. So our salutations to the Honorable Prime Minister for this great honor he has done for yoga and for our country. And this, we should all take it, spread the message across the humanity, 7 billion people. That is why the Director ISMH, who was just here a few minutes ago from Puducherry government, from ISM, Ministry of Ayush, that he was also suggesting take it to the people and adopt a village. It's a great suggestion which he has given. I'm sure the Balaji Vidyapeeth and also Institute of Salutogenesis will adopt this idea, jump on this idea, grasp it and implement it at the earliest. So why do the purpose of celebrating this is not only to bring awareness about yoga, but also to first start practicing it. Each one of us, I did yoga today. I have been doing for the past 45 years. So if I have not been admitted in my 73 years of my life into hospital, it's because of yoga. If I am not taking any medicine for hypertension, diabetes, and I'm still active, my biological age will be 35 or 40. So it's because of yoga. No, it's really, I am not boasting about myself. It's all because of yoga. If I have achieved something in life, being a DG of DRDO or a chancellor of a university at this age, it's all yoga. I can tell you, because this is not only I have experimented on yoga, looking at the prophylactic, promotive, curative potentials of yoga, but I have experienced it myself on me. So I can speak with confidence than anybody else, perhaps. And with all humility, I like to mention that this is a great, the gift of God given to the humanity. So it's our responsibility to put it on a scientific pedestal by doing experiments and also demonstrating to the people the science of yoga. Because we know the philosophy of yoga, everybody knows. But the science of yoga is yet to be understood from man to molecule. How does it work? Genomics, proteomics, lipidomics, metabolomics. And how does it go deep into that level and bring about the physiological, biochemical, psychological, and spiritual impacts. So I think this is the only message. I don't want to take a long. I'm going to deliver a talk later, maybe on 16th June or somewhere around that. So I would give more about this. But all my request is that, let us take it as a mission in life to spread this yoga, because yoga can bring a new world order, which will be seen by good health, happiness, peace, prosperity, global harmony for everyone. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina, the global village, we can create that through yoga. All these wars and all that will disappear. So let us, through the yoga, let us bring that change in us, change in our ecosystem, change in the world, change in the universe. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir, for those words of wisdom and motivation. and truly you continue to motivate us. I request Dayanidhi to introduce our respected Vice-Chancellor, sir, following which our Vice-Chancellor, sir, will give the inaugural address.
Thank you, sir. So we welcome our Honorable Vice-Chancellor, sir, Professor N.R. Biswas, sir. So he is a former Director and Vice-Chancellor, Indira Gandhi Institute of Medical Sciences, Patna, Bihar. He is a former Director, Mahavir Vatsalya Hospital and Mahavir Heart Hospital, Patna. Former Advisor to Government of India, BP Koirala Institute of Health Sciences, Nepal, and Honorable Professor of Clinical Pharmacology, BPKIHS, Nepal, and former visiting faculty, College of Medicine, King Faisal University, Saudi Arabia, and national international assignments. And he is a core member of Delhi Society for Promoting of Rational Use of Drugs, India WHO Program in Essential Drugs, National Pharmacovigilance Center for ADR meetings, WHO Collaborating Center for International Drug Monitoring, Uppsala, Sweden, and Future Group International as a resource person for preparing medicine policy for Uttaranchal state. And so many significant contributions to translational research and indigenous technology development. Now, I invite our Honorable Vice-Chancellor, sir, Dr. N.R. Biswas, sir, to give his inaugural address. Yeah,
Welcome,
sir.
sir.
You are welcome, sir.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you, Dr. Dayanidhi, for your good introduction, and good morning to all. Vanakkam, and thank you, Minaji, to tell in detail about our ISCM, and Professor Balaji for welcoming the speakers and delegates in different languages. And thank you, Director Ayush Puducherry branch, for his positive views and his promise to helping us. And of course, thank you very much, Professor Selvamurthy, sir. We worked together when I was in AIMS New Delhi, for your good advice and your own experience about the health of yoga, to be healthy and to prevent disease and to cure disease also. So I am pleased to deliver the inaugural address for the online international faculty development program on yoga therapy in healthcare and educational settings, organized and conducted by the School of Yoga Therapy of Institute of Salutogenesis and Complementary Medicine. In short, we call it ISCM. Sri Balaji Vidyapeeth from 23rd, means from today to 15 June 2023. SBV is one of India's top-ranking healthcare universities, with more than 3,000 students enrolled in the streams of medicine, dentistry, nursing, pharmacy, and allied health sciences. And its salutogenic orientation towards health and wellness has received wide acclaim. We at SBV hold the focus on factors enhancing health, promotional, and wellness, and we have high regards for yoga therapy in such a healthcare setting. This has been a source of inspiration for us in integrating health promotion and wellness through yoga therapy into the modern medicine system for over a decade and halt. And we are closely working the modern medicine as well as this age-old therapy, means yoga therapy as well as music therapy here. Today is a special day, a momentous occasion, where we are beginning the online international FDP, means Faculty Development Program, being organized by the School of Yoga Therapy of ISCM, addressing this important topic on yoga therapy in healthcare and educational setting for the benefit of humanity. The main objective of this FDP is to promote awareness on the application of yogic in order to achieve spiritual, psychological, or physiological harmony. It respects individual differences in age, culture, religion, philosophy, occupation, mental and physical health. The role and scope of yoga therapy has expanded of late as it has become a popular pathway to holistic wellness and is being adopted and accepted globally as a preventive and curative modality. Research published in high impact journals reveal various dimensions of yoga therapy through evidence-based research to highlight yogic multi-tiered benefits, and the health care professionals are responding appropriately to these positive findings. And I am convinced by reading their evidence-based research and their printed copies of these peer-reviewed articles in different good journals. Yoga has long been recognized as a powerful tool for healing and transformation through the various practices that have the ability to access deep parts of everyone and facilitate healing on multiple levels, resulting in a truly potent form of therapy. And it is like any other therapy, like physiotherapy and other thing, it has value, and we must promote the yoga therapy for preventive as well as in curative ways. And this modern medical advancement provide the rationale for integration of various traditional healing like yoga, naturopathy, Ayurveda, Siddha, and music to promote health and longevity. And that's why Government of India has started a new ministry called the Ministry of Ayush. And we must have work hand to hand to promote the health of the individuals of our country. Yoga therapy is being employed extensively in the clinical setting at our hospital, and numerous research projects and publications have documented these innovative efforts to integrate traditional systems of healing with modern medical approaches in patient care. And I am extremely happy that eminent speakers from around the globe, along with our own faculty from the School of Yoga Therapy, will be enlightening us with their wisdom. They are including, I will just name few of them: Dr. Sridharan, Rajappa, Dr. M Srinivasan, Dr. W. Selvamurthy, and he is now Chancellor of Amity University. And I met him in many meetings when he was in DRDO and I was in AIIMS New Delhi. Dr. Dilip Sarkar, Professor Ingun Hagen, Professor Sabir Singh Khalsa, Professor Elangovanar, Dr. V. Venugopal, Dr. Sailendra Dubey, Dr. Prasida Menon, Dr. S.T. Venkatesaran, Yogacharya Yandev Giri, and Dr. Nimor and Hemant is from Nimans. Many times I visited Nimans, and recently I met your director, Dr. Hemant, Professor Gangadhar, when I was in NMC office. I must congratulate the ISCM team led by Professor Balaji and his colleagues from the School of Yoga Therapy for their efforts and contribution. I wish the event all success and hope that all the participants from around the world would benefit from the international FDP series and take the message to their own country, their own institution, and their own people. My only suggestion is, as yoga is a science like any other science, why it will not be included and integrated with modern medicines? As physiotherapy is a part and parcel of any hospital, in any medical college, because of its usefulness. And why not a yoga department is established in any medical college and hospital? We all must work together and convince the NMC so that they can include as a curriculum the yoga to the undergraduate and postgraduate medical students. Please conduct a brainstorming session in this topic and send your recommendation to National Medical Commission. Simultaneously, I request the international speakers, you also try to include yoga therapy in your medical curriculum and system of your country. Again, I welcome all of you for a fruitful deliberation. And as Dr. Selvamurthy told, that practice, because charity begins home. If we start doing yoga and convince our clinician, the modern clinicians, modern medicine, so that can be integrated with their therapy. And I'm convinced that with yoga and modern medicine, the result will be better than only modern medicine. And it is in clinical trial, it is proved, 100 times proved. So we have to now promote this and to start it in the hospital setting from bench to bedside. With these few words, I wish this deliberations and this international faculty development program a good success. Thank you very much for calling me.
Thank you so much, sir. Dhanyavadaha. What a beautiful, inspirational, motivational message that every medical institution should have a yoga therapy department. This is a very beautiful day when sir has given us this goal to work towards, and we'll do our best to propagate this message, sir. I now go back to Dayanidhi
Yes, sir.
to introduce our speaker of the day, Professor M Srinivasan, sir.
Thank you, sir. I heartily welcome our resource person. So, Honorable Speaker, Dr. M Srinivasan, sir. So, he is a professor, Division of Yoga and Physical Education, S-VYASA, Bengaluru. Dr. M Srinivasan, sir, received his BE from the University of Madras and his ME from the Indian Institute of Science, Bengaluru. He also holds a PhD from Sweden and DSc from S-VYASA, Bengaluru. He was a professor of biomedical engineering at IITM. He was a president and a board member of International Society of Structural Engineers and Energy Medicine in Colorado. He joined S-VYASA as a professor of yoga and physical sciences in 2008. He is the executive editor of the International Journal of Yoga. He also authored several books, including Gita Sagarasaram, Yoga Sagarasaram, Model, Methods and Perspectives in Yoga, and co-authored the Science and Art of Yoga in Mental and Neurological Healthcare, and also co-authored the book Energy Medicine with Dr. B.R. Pai. Sir, now I heartily welcome you to deliver the speech. Here, hand over to you, sir. Please welcome.
Namaste, sir. Such a pleasure to have you as the first illustrious speaker of this FDP. It is a blessing to have you with us. Looking forward to your Upadesha today, sir. Thank you, sir.
Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Thank you very much for putting me in the spot as the first speaker, which has both responsibility and a lot of freedom, because I can say anything I want. You have not heard this in this lecture series so far. And I've known, of course, our Ananda from the time he was in complete Ananda, as less than a year old, and Ananda Balayogi. Then I came to know Dr. Ananda Balayogi after he finished his medical degree. And I have great respect for his father and mother, both of whom had been done human service, not just in Puducherry, but all over South and all of India and abroad. And it's very important that now Dr. Balayogi is looking into and propagating Guru Parampara. So the tradition of Guru and their wisdom goes back time immemorial, especially in yoga and other sciences. And it is wonderful that he has taken up. And not only that, he is like my son, so I can find fault with him. I'm not going to do it right now, but I'm going to compliment. I always like listening to him. I do listen to some of his talks, and also his multi-talented ways of doing things. He can do Nattuangam, he can do Bharatanatyam, he has music, his percussion instruments he works with, and of course the human body he can take very well, and the mind also. So thanks, Ananda, for everything you are doing. And my blessings, if I have any blessings left now, is that you should continue and propagate this truth about what we are. And that will be a great blessing to humanity. Science progresses through questioning. Spirituality progresses by not questioning. Once you accept a guru, you hold your mouth quiet, listen to his or her advice, and follow meticulously what the guru says. However, in science, things are a little different. I've always wondered, because it is said science and spirituality will meet sometime. I don't know where they go, not in my lifetime, certainly not, because they have so different concepts related to reality. Look at science. By the way, I don't use PPTs because PPTs are done previous night when you're quiet, and now I'm here listening to all of you and I have to come up with something. Anyway, so science always questions, and also their concept of reality is totally, I don't want to sound negative, is not acceptable. It's because the way we define science in yoga, in other darshanas, that which is permanent, that which is always is reality. And you can call it by many names. The easiest name is Brahman with an N at the end. It has no female or male connotation. It's a neutral gender. And that is reality because we say that it does not change, never changes, changeless. That will imply a lot of things. Anyway, so we have ways of how the universe came about. Even yesterday I was looking at some scientific explanation saying that nothing, something came out of nothing. It's very difficult to understand. After a Big Bang, there was nothing, and the whole universe came out of it. All these souls, hanging around, and all the people are coming around. We're all interacting. There are millions and millions of life forms on this earth, and not to say other earths and other solar systems. So all that came about from nothing. That looks really very difficult to understand. Anyway, that's their problem. But we have to be very clear that what we are doing and saying has some scientific relationship. That's why I thought first is, while trying to look at the heading of this meeting, integrating yoga to modern medicine or allopathic medicine. Now, integrating would imply several things. We'll come to it in a minute. But basically, first question is yoga a science? There are great books written, Science of Yoga by Taimini, for example, and various other people. I think they will not look at the root of the problem, because today scientists, I was in a big medical institution where some work on Ayurveda is being presented. All the professors are there. I don't want to name the institution. And one professor ultimately got up. He was so frustrated, he got up and said, he was a physiology professor. He said, "Why, madam, you are talking about Ayurveda? This is not even a science." Unfortunately, I was asked to chair the session by the Vice-Chancellor at that time. And I have to intervene and say, because most scientists anywhere, not only in India, elsewhere, have no clue what science is. And other people think putting a word like science is very important. Say they put it, yoga is a science. Now we have to uncover, why is yoga a science? Is it a science? Or is it science sometimes and sometimes it's not science? When we pursue scientific research, it is science. Otherwise, in a clinic or in a personal, it is not science, because the entire gamut of thinking must be looked into. For example, we say objective. If you look, do we have my book on yoga? What is it called? Method. I don't remember. Should I remember the title of my own book? I don't know. Method.
Principles and methods.
No,
It was
I
on
have
principles and methods, sir.
model methods and perspectives in yoga. If you look at the book, I don't know if you can see it.
Yes, sir.
I have put a little picture underneath which says medical research will tell you that P is less than 0.001, and it will happen sometimes, maybe occasionally, perhaps. That's the conclusion of medical research. In yoga, on the other hand, if you go to a great teacher, he will tell you, shut up and do this, and you will get Kaivalyam, okay? That's all it is. There's no question about it. No p values are not calculated because it will certainly happen to you. It doesn't matter. You can keep on thinking about, oh, it's subjective, it's objective. No, the whole concept of subjective and objective, I have written somewhere, is not even correct. Let's not go with it. We must be leading the world in thinking certain ways. And this is the way say, this is subjective because whatever you carry out from a Guru Parampara, from a Guru, then it will happen. If you take a medicine, it will happen 95% of the time. It is a good medicine. It will have side effects. It sometimes happens 20% of the time or 30%. So we have to be very clear about what is subjective, what is subjective, what is permanent, what is not permanent, because they are related to whether we want to interpret yoga as a science or not. Now, just like science depends on certain parameters and certain assumptions, yoga does too. First of all, it looks at pratyaksha, anumana, aganamaha, are the three ways of looking scientifically at any subjects. Pratyaksha, that is laboratory work. Anumana is logic. And agama is library work. So you have laboratory, library, and everything, all the logic in between. So this is exactly the way that it has been defined in Yoga Sutras. So from that point of view, we follow the same patterns as in a science. And actually, if you look at Ayurveda, their interpretation of science is even more stringent, actually. Let's not go into detail to take us too far away. So now, okay, so far so good. There are certain assumptions. You can say, oh, yoga talks about so many things. I don't know what they're talking about. They talk about nadis. They talk about prana. They talk about panchakosha. What kosas have been measured? Annamaya, oh, we talk about physiology all the time. Pranamaya, there's something. Let's not talk about it right now because it's an assumption that there is prana. We'll come to this towards the end of the talk when I'm going to talk about instrumentation in trying to understand life and death processes. Okay. Anyway, at that point of time, okay, prana. Then manomaya. Mano. Suddenly, 50 years ago, what happened in the West? There was a huge revolution of the medicine. You know what happened? They found out suddenly that mind has an effect on the body. Before that, no. Mind is mind, and Descartes very clearly said, mind is mind and body is mind. Let us not combine these two, because the mind belongs to the guys in the church. The body belongs to me, in the doctor who's you're lying on my table. I'm going to open up his body. Your mind is okay, that's all. So without getting into complication, they kept it apart in watertight compartments. And suddenly somebody said, oh, somebody is depressed and he gets some diseases also. Oh, so the mind has an effect, and then the body has an effect. Of course, the body has an effect. Somebody is very sick, you go and tell a patient the C word, you know what that is, cancer. And unfortunately, I saw a close friend of mine was coming out of the hospital, intensive care. My mother at 95 was there. She was okay. And I asked this friend, oh, sir, what happened? Sir, my friend, my somebody was put in the hospital, intensive care, sir. He passed away last night. What happened? He was okay. Yeah, he was okay, sir. But he saw a person the next to bed die. And he got a heart attack and died. See, it is so strong a feeling that the mind can shut off your complete body. And there he was, he's gone. So mind has an effect. That is what second sutra has already, this old man has already told us that chitta vritti nirodha, right? That's what he says. So now, yoga has certain axioms. Axiom is prana. So does Ayurveda. There is a prana that is coursing through your nadis. There are energy medicine in the West. And then the prana is generated and it goes through entire body, keeping the cells in proper order and functioning. Okay. Now, so hence there's a whole lot of assumptions. And by the way, you know, the students tend to put in more assumptions than required. There is a Occam's razor or something. There's a Western take on this. Again, look it up if you want. That don't have more axioms than required. So anyway, we'll stop at this. Let's say prana is the only, you know, troublesome assumption we have made so far. Okay, let us look at modern science. I'm holding this camera in front of me. You are looking at me. I'm talking to you. You know, it is going through satellite and coming to you. Fantastic. You know who does this? All this? You know the guy's name? The guy's name is electron. He's the one who is able to do all this.
बिल्कुल यार के साथ बैठिए आप बस और ध्यान रखना कि आप अभी नया शुरू.
Okay, somebody else also want to put in a word. Okay, so the electrons are responsible for all,
दोनों हाथ सामने.
all the activities that is going on in the material world. Now, I wanted to know what an electron was, and one of our great scientists, Dr. PCG Sudarshan, was visiting a few years ago. Unfortunately, he passed on 2-3 years ago. I told him, sir, let me know, tell me, you're a great scientist, and what is an electron? He was very kind the first time in the classroom. He said, Srinivasan, sit down. I sat down. And something else came up, and again said, sir, what is energy? What is matter? What is electron? Now I'm repeating the question, and he doesn't like it. He's a very lovable old man, like me right now. Okay, so he said, "Shut up and sit down." And of course, he was laughing and said, "You know, we don't know about electron." No, sir, I want to know latest. We do not know what an electron is, but we know how to manipulate it. You think of your teenage boy or girl, you want to manipulate them, it doesn't matter, you don't know who they are. Actually, the whole of yoga is towards finding out who I am to myself. How can I know about anybody? Anyway, so electron is an entity we have no clue about, and we are using all the time. So there's a big assumption in science. Similarly, there are other assumptions in science. As I said, for example, at Big Bang, nothing was there, and everything came out of Big Bang. I don't know where that X and Y and Z and everything else comes through. Anyway, so there are assumptions in science as much as in yoga, and both need to be taken for granted. If you work on what prana is, then you are not working on yoga per se or Ayurveda per se, but you are doing something very fundamental, very important, which is required. And now there is a machine called for Nadi Parishodhana, putting on your radial artery, and you can get Vada Pitta Kapha details, kind of. I think it will be successful in a short while. But anyway, the assumptions are in both cases. So we cannot say just because there is an assumption, and I don't know about prana, the whole edifice built upon it, but in Ayurveda and yoga is not correct. So that's not correct. So in other words, I'm trying to say that yoga is as much as science as any other physical sciences you can think about. Okay, now moving on. I have, how long I have, Ananda? Go on as much as you want.
Yes, sir, as long as you want, sir.
You know, I'm an old man. It will go on for a while. Okay, about 12,
Yeah,
12,
we are enjoying, sir.
Maybe around 12 o'clock. Okay, let us see.
Yes, sir.
Please do remind me by 12 o'clock. You know, sometimes my short-term memory, you know what it is.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you. Okay, now, salutogenesis. Let us see. I was just thinking about it. What is salutogenesis? Of course, there are definitions, and Ananda has given some beautiful definitions. Have we talked about earlier? Is there salutogenesis in yoga or Gita? Yeah, you know, in general terms, you can say yuktahara viharasya yuktacheshtassu karmasu yuktaswapno ubhavadasya yogo bhavati dukkhaha. The most important there is dukkhaha. That ha is important. Kill that everything. If you have yoga takes care of everything if you are doing the right things at the right time. And one of the papers that Ananda was mentioning, take foods available which are seasonal. You don't have to take things coming from abroad because they're not suited for the body. Nothing wrong with getting kiwi from wherever, Australia or something. But this is the seasonal variation in the body is also reflected in nature. If you want to be in tune with nature, take what is available locally and consume it. Consume it to the amount they say, have the stomach filled with food, quarter with water, another quarter with maybe prana. Yeah. Okay, so this is the way to go forward, and don't overdo it. If you don't overdo anything, either working or sleeping or eating, then you are maintaining a homeostatic idea. That is good. That's good for the body. So, and also for the mind, because the food affects the mind, as you know, and we have to be careful how it also impacts the mind. So that was kind of, I thought that might give us a little idea about salutogenesis. Okay, now again, if you want to integrate a system, that's a very difficult word. I have no clue what it means. A diverse system like yoga and Ayurveda on one hand, and allopathic medicine on the other, then certain basic things must be met. If they are not met, then you cannot integrate it. You can have add-on, like in our papers we write add-on yoga, because why you write that add-on yoga? For publishing it. Otherwise, the fellows will not publish it. That's all it is. I want my students to get a PhD and not argue about philosophy of adding on or not. So, say add-on yoga, can it be really integrated as a seamless procedure between yoga and modern medicine? Then a few things have to be brought together. There should be a model, and they should be at least overlapping, if not exactly same. For example, model in yoga and model in Ayurveda are pretty much overlapping. Maybe 10% here and there you take off, that's fine. But between modern medicine and our Indian medicine, it is very difficult to find that kind of overlap. That's why, see where we should, we should see which model is most basic and introduce to the students. They are medical students or not, who cares? They are students. They are medical students, they are therapeutic students. I've been trying to get some institution, because some of these engineering colleges want to do something different. I said, do biomedical engineering is an old area. Don't go into that. We have done it over and over again. Do therapeutics or body mechanics or mechanical engineering, biomechanics or something, which will be more useful and more direct. We can look into and acquire competence in directing the physical and physiological system, and mind also involved with this. So anyway, hopefully somebody will pick it up. I'll send the note to Ananda. He can look it up, what I had written several years ago. Anyway, so integrating means that we have a model. We don't have a model which are overlapping, maybe 10% overlap if at all. And then who should read this? How to introduce at least the concept of yoga into medicine? My take is, of course, I'm biased, okay? My take is, whatever is most fundamental must be introduced first. Whatever is most fundamental must, that's what you do in medical education also. Within the medical education, physiology, you are not dealing with the most fundamental, but you are having biochemical responses, etc. We'll come back to that in a minute, in another half an hour or so. So remember, in medical education also, you're talking about physiology, which is gross. You're talking about mind, which is, mind is nobody knows what mind is. I got a book the other day, there are two pages definition of mind. I thought this fellow is crazy. If a fellow can take 2 pages to describe something, he doesn't know about it, right? It must be short. Chitta vritti viroha, finished. Don't ask more questions. That's what great teacher Krishnamacharya used to say. Don't ask questions. Think about it. Come after 3 months, and you'll understand. You don't have to ask a question. Well, That's why I'm so old and still not getting into yoga theory. Okay. So, what was it? So you have to introduce what is most fundamental. What is most fundamental is Panchakosha model. That is the most fundamental because there are so many things we do not know. It doesn't matter what we do not know. But based on that, we can build physiology and then mental and medical other problems related to that. So physiology comes later in this. So you have to be very clear. I'm not saying do this, but I'm saying kindly consider this while you're going to teach people. I think Banaras University under K.N. Udupa, Dr. K.N. Udupa has been doing this for a long time. It might be worthwhile to look what exactly, how they have integrated. Basically, first 2 years of medicine, Ayurveda, modern medicine are integrated into one classroom. So at least all of them are learning the same things. And they know when they go out, they talk the same language within the precepts of body and mind. Okay. So anyway, so because as mentioned, modern medicine does not go beyond certain level. Now, certain assumptions we talked about earlier, the most fundamental, as I said, electrons, most fundamental particles, biochemical response comes because of electronic transport within the medium. Let me repeat, biochemical responses come about because of electron transport. We don't know anything about electron transport. It's too complicated because I'm talking about one electron changing its position inside a huge biological molecule, and suddenly it changes its characteristics and its interaction with environment. So this has not been addressed at all. I don't know if medical colleges even know about it because it's almost fundamental. It is not my idea, by the way. It is from Dr. Sian Gorgi, who got a Nobel Prize way back in 50s. And he has written a beautiful book on this, a question of cancer. I think it is the name of it's a booklet about 30, 40 pages, but he talks about the importance of electron and electron transport that is required in bringing about biochemical changes. Now we are looking only at biochemical changes. And he finds fault with this inability because it needs different type of equipment and very sophisticated to find out how an electron is behaving within a biological medium. It's not simple. You might have to tag it with radioactive substances, etc., etc. But anyway, so it is a very incomplete picture, and also the picture starts somewhere else, not as most fundamental. Where here we have a fundamental way of looking at. You should read a book by Dr. Vaidyanathan on Ayurveda. Takes as long, I only see the conclusion. He says, as long as the sun and moon, Ayurveda will be correct. And when the sun and moon goes off, we'll think about something else. Let's not worry about it now. Okay, so the methods, the models are different. So we have to take the model which is most fundamental. These models should be, hence that is a basic model that is both valid for Ayurveda yoga on one hand and modern medicine. There's nothing against it. Say, for example, Panchakosha is not against modern medicine. It might at best widen the vision of modern medicine, and that's what we want to do. We want to widen it so they can look into other areas. For example, 30 years ago in a hotel, we were talking about getting some people coming to India, and the old man said, no, I'll not come to India for all these biomedical conferences. And two of us sitting and talking and said, energy, medical conference, medical energy medicine, clicked. Okay, we had the first energy medicine conference in Chennai in 1983 or something. So we want to extend it. Now you see, energy medicine is part of NIH. They have included as one of the areas where they can fund. Okay. Similarly, we have to see, okay, how we can extend it so that it doesn't matter what you're working, it is a scientific work, well-established, well-repeated, and reproducible results are coming through, whether you're doing yoga in America or in Puducherry or elsewhere. So that kind of model must be introduced. Next. Okay. I want to go a little bit. Any questions so far?
I think it is better you go to the end and then we'll come to questions.
Okay.
Otherwise,
Okay, no problem.
Thank you. Sir.
Okay, thank you. Now, I want to switch gears and do something else, talk about something a little different, and that's very exciting. And that is, what is life? What is death? Now, remember, these are very important concepts. What is life? We don't care. But what is death is very important because there's legal problems. The fellow goes to hospital, he dies. Then people think he's dead. The doctor thinks he's dead. He does all this investigation. EEG is flat, ECG is flat, no responses, his eye, etc., etc., etc. A huge category, the whole list of things they have to go through, which is approved internationally. And ultimately, the doctor says, we can't do anything. He's gone. Okay. And he tells the nurse, the doctors and nurses, we go in the evening, they are crazy. They are running around all over the place. There are hardly enough people there, and they have to keep on going from patient to patient. The doctor has to see the next serious patient and tells the nurse, pack him up, body bag, take him out, okay, goes away. This happened actually once, not here, in Netherlands. And the nurse was, of course, equally under pressure of work. And she heard the doctor, she said, okay. And then meanwhile, something else, something serious, a living patient, you have to take care of him, right? Who cares about a dead man? Okay, we'll come and do it. Both forgot. After about 1 hour, they meet each other outside. What happened to the man? What man? Are they dead? No. What am I supposed to do? Oh, put him back and put him in mortuary. Oh, okay, sir, go. That fellow is sitting up. And he's saying, what's happening here? Where am I? Why am I in hospital? And they're shocked. Both of them are shocked. Oh my God. What is the consequence? See, first of all, first thing comes to medical doctor in the West is legal. He's going to take my house away, my wife away, my everything away. Oh, no, it's not going to happen. No. Sorry. But more importantly, this is terrible. Declaring a live person, are you coming back to life? That is dead. So maybe prana is a better definition. I don't know, we'll see. So this kind of things have happened in Western hospitals over and over and over. There is a journal called Near Death Studies, Journal of Near Death Studies, who have been publishing a lot of papers the last 30 years on some of them related to what I mentioned. Similar incidences have been reported over and over again. In Netherlands, I don't remember numbers now, it is something like 200 patients declared dead by the medical institutions under strict vigilance have been found to be coming back alive. Which to me is very simple. Your definition of death is incomplete, right? Otherwise, not one should come out. That's why we put him in a nice body bag, white towel, and then throw water on him, put a little bit of more nama, and wait for half an hour. If he doesn't respond, okay, take him out. So maybe that's a different way of doing it. We do not know. I'll tell you later on, okay? Not now. And I'll go through that. Anyway, so there is a lacuna in this. There's a really serious lacuna with legal implications, of course. So now, how do we look at this? Now again, Sain Gorgi in his booklet has mentioned that if a cell is not able to give out electrons, what they call unbound free electrons within a cell, if the cell does not give out electrons, then it is a dead cell. So that caught my attention. I've written about it in one of my editorials available for free. I said, how can it be? So electron is deciding life and death processes. We have to look at it. Okay, an instrument. Yeah, suddenly we started working on one instrument called GDV, short-term memory. Gas discharge visualization. Actually, it's a Killian photography machine, which we worked in IITM a long time ago, but now in a different form and more easy to work with. There are two avatars of this machine. One is called GDV, gas discharge visualization. The second one, yes, thank you. The second one is a smaller version called BioWell, Bio, W-E-L-L, with a hyphen. Anyway, it's not available in India right now. Well, W-E-L-L, BioWell. Okay. Now, what they do is the following, very interesting. They draw out electrons from your fingertips, from the pad to the fingers, 5 and 5, 10 of them. You put each finger pad on a dark window and close the window, and there is a electrical plate on top and at the bottom of the finger, and it sends high voltage up to 10 kilovolts for a short duration, about 1.5 milliseconds. And there is a discharge coming from the fingers. You would have seen this aura, etc. They talk about. I have my own reservations. I don't use the word aura here. It's simply a discharge coming out because the electrons are flowing out of the fingers from inside the body. And each finger pad is divided into different sections because these finger pads are connected to different organs inside the body as per acupuncture system. Now, acupuncture is very interesting because unlike, I always say between Indian and Chinese mind is very practical, down to earth. We try to complicate. Look at Bharatanatyam. I look at Bharatanatyam and say, how complicated. My grandson, 6-year-old, trying to learn classical music. Oh my God, what complicated? Why do you kill him with this complication? Make it simple, man. Let him enjoy this. No. It has to be with tala, with raga, with this and that, everything. Otherwise, okay. People survive and become good people also, good musicians. Anyway, so we have this, what it draws these electrons from the inside of the body. Now, where from do they draw the electrons? You know, where there is free flow of electrons. If there is a least resistance path, it will draw the electrons. Oh, least resistance. What do you mean by that? Least resistance path to electrical currents. Oh, you don't know. Acupuncture meridians are the least resistant path for electrical activity. Very interesting. There is no, here is a concept, there is no physiology. There is no anatomy, but there is physiology. Let me repeat. Acupuncture is a classical example where there is no anatomy, but there is physiology. What do I mean? If you take any point, any specific point on the, for example, the little mound there, you get it, and you hold the fingers. There's an acupuncture point coming to the surface of the body. If you look at the electrical characteristics, it has less resistance than surrounding tissues, electrically speaking. Okay, you go to Dr. Ananda's lab, he will cut off that little skin and take it out, the electron microscope, etc. Look at it, there's no difference. They all look alike. But electrically, they seem to be different. But anyway, coming back, so the least resistant path is to the meridian going to the particular organ as per the theory of acupuncture. So when you put the electrode and draw out these electrons, then each organ has its contribution in different fingers of the both hands. There is a lot of work on it. We have published about 15 papers the last 3-4 years. We worked with that in VYASA on meditation, on yoga, and you name it. And we found that there's very great consistency. For example, we can pick out, not me, my student will pick out exactly the dates of ovulation in a woman. He said, are you under period? She'll say yes. That's fantastic because energetically they're different. That's what we are talking about, energetically about women in ovulation rather than finding out whether she should be outside the bedroom or inside the bedroom, which is ridiculous. You're talking energetically. If you go to a temple, we are talking energetically going to a temple, not simply a body going to a temple. But anyway, that's a different thing. I don't want to get into it because it's too complicated. Okay, so now the Russians did 3 experiments with this, which is very, very interesting. Please listen very carefully. The first one is a normal natural death in a hospital. And they put all the fingers, and over the period of what was 10 minutes before and going through 10 minutes after their declaration of the dead. So over a period of time, they collected this data for a normal person dying normally in a hospital bed, 2, a suicide case, 3, an accident victim. Okay, the 3 cases. Now the 2, second one and third one, accident and suicide, had similar outcomes in the experiment, and that is as follows. What happened was, there was large, see, a living body gives fluctuations all the time. It's like your temperature. Temperature is never constant. It varies a little bit up and down within limits. So is your heart rate. No big deal. It is supposed to change. That's why you look at HRV. Anyway, so the small amount of the variations coming through. And at the time of suicide, after that time, the variation starts increasing in maximum and minimum variations. And it takes 3 days for that to subside. And ultimately, only a line comes through. I'm talking about electrons, number of electrons coming out is almost constant or 0, close to 0 after 3 days in an accident victim or suicide. In a natural death, the variations are there before death, as a normal case, but as declaring death and the person is dead, then within a few hours, 1 hour or 2 hours, it'll go up and down and the variations will reduce, and then it settles down to almost 0 level. It'll never 0, but close to 0. So repeating again, the normal case, it takes about a couple of hours to come to 0. For the electrons, no more electrons coming out of the system, like remember, Sayan Gorgi talked about it. In the accident and in the suicide case, it takes 3 days, 72 hours. Okay, now question arises, why 3 days? What happened here? I thought about it, I'll give you an answer. If you have a different answer, please let me know, it'll be interesting, because they're all open questions. You are given a certain amount of time. I am given, I'll say I am given a certain amount of time in this life, in this body, for whatever reasons. I have no right to take out and shorten my time. This is called, if I kill myself, it is called Brahmahati. I am killing Brahman. It's not killing a Brahmin, by the way, please don't misunderstand this. It is not. Because everybody, any soul is worth the same thing. Any Atman, I don't want to use the soul. Any Atman is equal. So this is, if I take my life, it is Brahmahati. That is a great papa that I'm going to pay for. But basically what happened is, the Atma is supposed to live in me for a certain amount of time. Now I am shortening its residence in my body by taking out the body mechanics. So for Atman to realize this, it takes several days. And ultimately, because the system cannot sustain any more activity, it has to leave. Whereas a normal case, automatically within an hour or 2, the Atman is ready to go, it leaves. So in other words, first thing is to notice that the electron availability can be made use of as an additional, I'm not saying replace it, is not possible, it should not be done, as an additional proof of the person going through death or death process. And secondly, we have tell, I was just advising my one of our gardener's daughter not getting good marks. For heaven's sake, don't say that in 12th standard. You have given her opportunity. She has done well. We'll take care of her. Don't worry. Encourage them, because that's the time, 12th, when the 12th, they're not doing well, they go and take out their life. Now, what are the equivalents? My God, what a shock. What terrible things are happening to her and to her family and to all of us. because in the whole system will reverberate to this. It is not one person dying with her own hands. No, no, no. It is reverberates the entire system. All of us are involved in this. So we have to protect our people, tell them, take care of them. Anyway, coming back to this, likely this is an additional information about electron availability as a requirement for death certification. Now, just in passing, I want to say, in Ayurveda, they will tell you, a dying man will ask for water. Is that experience? I think I have myself gone through with my elders. Why? No, he's not asking for water, but he doesn't know it. As for Ayurveda, the subtlest aspect of water is prana. Everything is divided into three: solid food, liquid water is divided into blood, and then the last, most fundamental, is prana. So what the man wants is really prana. But unless he has life, he can't transfer life, water into prana. So my definition of life is that if your body is able to convert water to prana, you are alive. No big information, but anyway, keep in mind, it might come handy sometime and you can think about it. Okay. So in other words, we have an instrument now which gives an additional information about life processes. And indeed, I hope some of you medical doctors will take it up and look at it more critically and see what exactly is happening. So with this, I'd like to summarize. Basically, what I talked about is a little bit of science. What science is? That science is nothing but Pratyaksha Anumana Agama, which is very well followed by Indian scientific treatises such as Yoga Sutras and Ayurveda. And same as modern science. Similar to modern science, we have some assumptions. Yoga has, or Ayurveda has, and so is modern science has assumptions. We do not question the basic assumptions because that will take us away from what we want to do. It's not applied research, it is fundamental research, like what is particle, how particles generate, how they come, how they go, etc. It's a different kind of field. People are working on it, that's okay. So the overlap is rather limited. So my plea is kindly teach students what is most fundamental and develop both of them from that root. The root is there. And one side is the yoga and Ayurvedic flowers and fruits. Other side is modern medicine. Both are required. I'm not saying one should be instead of another. It is not even complementary. They are congregative or whatever it is. Use what you want to use. And it is so that way we take it to people. Just it's a little. I was in charge of a rural yoga institute in Tirupati in 1977. And we had a lot of rural people coming into the hospital. We had Ayurveda, yoga. And I tried to convince them about yoga. Their response, Sami, I am working with my body the whole time, morning 8 to evening 8. I'm not even getting paid IT labor. I'm getting a rice and something. So I don't want to do yoga. Is there something you can give tablet I can take? Because they are already overusing their body. So it is very difficult to convince them do yoga. At least at that time, it was very difficult. So we have to think of their requirements, how we can supplement, support them. If something and support, when they are well, then catch them, not when they are sick. When they are sick, they want to get well and go back to work. When they are well, when they are young, you catch them and teach them yoga. Maybe that will keep them going for a long time. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thanks a lot for this opportunity. I hope we have gained each other by teaching to you or telling you my ideas. If the ideas are wrong, that's great. I love it. Please disprove me. I'll be most happy. Your ideas are good. Think what you can do with it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. This was a most thought-provoking session. And, before before I go on to opening it up for questions, I was just having a thought. Can we then, if the fundamental basis of modern science is electrons, can we say the fundamental basis of life and yoga is prana? So are electrons and prana one and the same? Is a question that comes to mind.
Good. I have addressed this in one of my iJoy editorial. They are not. Short answer. Because they are different levels of sophistication. Prana is most fundamental. Out of prana emerges everything. The Akasha, I don't remember quite what Vivekananda says in his book on yoga. But so my take would be, prana is the most fundamental, and out of which emergences. For example, going backwards, it'll go up to water in the body. Water comes down to prana in the downward direction. Going upward, it is water. And water is required, right? Even water is required. So similarly, similarly, electrons are required, and there may be equivalence between the two, but they're not. I think they're not exactly equal. They're not. That's my take on it.
Thank you, sir, for that. And similarly, we were talking of the acupressure points, which in our tradition are the marma points in our tradition. So the least resistance draws the energy. Did I get that right?
Beg your pardon, one more time. Least resistance.
Least resistance at those points draws the energy there.
Draws.
Is that
you use the word draws? Okay.
Yeah.
Now, first of all, this is very interesting because I have measured this over and over again, and there are $20 systems available, little things you can put on the point, it'll go green, or off the point, acupuncture point, it'll go red, based on electrical activity only. It gives out a little bit of current. The current is more than so much. Because the resistance is less, current will be more, so there is a green light coming up, otherwise red light. So it is, this is connected to, see, it comes to the skin level at certain points in the body. Otherwise, it's underneath. They have one guy by name Bong Han, I think Bong Han, a North American, not Korean scientist way back in the 60s, found there are actual ducts there which carry this information, acupuncture information. But not everywhere. The ducts are not everywhere. Ducts are like what I visualize. You go in Puducherry, outside of Puducherry, there's a waterway on both sides, and there's a connection bridge underneath, right? The bridge is not everywhere. Bridge is only on some points where there is a connection requirement or something. Similarly, the ducts are connecting to points. We don't know, nobody knows why it is, but it's available only in some points. In other points, it is interstitial tissues that accommodate, as it were, to some electromagnetic waves. They say microwave is going through that, etc., etc. Not very clear what's happening. But there is certainly, for example, if you inject a radioactive dye at the acupuncture point, it'll go along the meridian. You can map the meridian. They have done it. They ran way back in 1970s or so. If you inject the same radioactive dye in a non-acupuncture point in the skin, it will simply spread three-dimensionally, like a droplet in water. The ink droplet in water will spread all over. There's no preferential direction. Whereas at that point, suddenly it goes only through the duct. And there's no doubt there is connection, but where the connection continuity, we are not able to find. But probably basically because of their experience, they can say that this is a liver point, this is a lung point, etc. And it is very, again, see, we cannot equate one-to-one to Ayurveda or yoga, because I think Ayurveda is still, or yoga is more fundamental. That's why we have more lack of clarity in this to explain what prana is. So it's more fundamental. Okay.
There is a point from Yoga Charity.
Does answer your question?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Our Yogacharya Gyanadev in Wales, he is asked about the articles on quantum science and them talking to meta particles and wonder how they would be related to prana.
Now, you see, it is very fashionable to talk about quantum systems because, again, it's like, the big elephant and blind people. You can say anything, it is true. You can say, I can keep quiet, it's also true. So now our famous Indian in Boston, San Francisco also, he has an institute. Now he says everything is quantum. He is a medical doctor. Why do you get into this? Don't get into it, for heaven's sake. You know whom I'm talking about. So and on the other hand, to bring down a beautiful name like Einstein was against quantum all the time. He didn't like quantum mechanics. That's a different problem. Let us not go into it because it is his personal likes and dislikes. Unfortunately, not scientific. So it can be quantum, it may not be quantum. Why? I do not know why it should be quantum. It should be quantum means what? Stepwise. It is not continuous. That's what it means. Quanta means when quanta is like one bullet. It has bullet shape and one around it, there is no bullet shape. Only the bullet has a bullet shape. If 5 centimeters away, 10 centimeters, it is not. It is only space. So that quantum jumps from one place to another, it's even more complicated than having a continuous system. By the way, continuous system is more accurate than quantum systems. Quantum systems can only emulate, come close to ideal. It will never reach ideal because of the mathematical constraints. It cannot be. So my voice, if you want 100% same voice, you have to have only analog system. You are listening to my voice through quantum system. So I can always say, you are hearing that my voice is much sweeter than what you think it is. So I can always claim that. May right or wrong, who knows? So I don't want to confuse because I think quantum, it is too early to talk about quantum systems and medicine, quantum medicine. I don't know what they mean by it. So I don't want to go into it because it is not mature yet. And with my limited time, I have to be careful with what I read. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. If anybody would like to ask, we could have 2 questions, I think. You could just unmute and ask your question or put it. There's one from Inga. And she asks, can asking these fundamental questions, such as basic assumptions about science and yoga, change the interrelationship and status in society? She's asked it in the chat box. And it's a very interesting question, which I think she's asked to the right person.
We'll find out if the right person or not. I have a chance to mess it up. Okay. Basically, I have learned to teach in America. I'm an IIT professor. No, we are not. We didn't learn to teach. Anyway, first thing is, no question is stupid. Likely the answers could be stupid. Okay. All questions has validity and we should listen very carefully and try to understand and respond. The response may or may not be correct. Maybe time bound, what I'm saying. Maybe after 5 years, things will change. But basically, as I said, yes, we need to ask the fundamental questions because ultimately the fundamental is the one that is ruling the entire universe. The prana is the one that gives me ability, that gives my biology, my physiology, my mind, everything. In different ways, it is transforming into the solid matter and I'm able to express myself. But basically it is prana. So it is by nature that we want to understand what prana is. I'll give one example. I can only give a personal example, okay? Don't mistake me. One girl who wanted to do a PhD with me in Vyasa, she came and said, sir, I think you know about everything. Is that true? Anyway, only Tamil girl can ask this question. Others don't ask. I said, I laughed. I said, no, it is not. It cannot be true. How can it be true? I know I do not know everything. Nobody can know everything. She asked why? Because of quantum mechanics. Because if I want to know everything, I have to be at 0 degrees Kelvin. I repeat, if I know everything, I will be in 0 degrees Kelvin, minus 273 degrees Celsius. That is the bottom. You can't go below that, okay? Which means I am frozen to death a long time ago. So nobody can know everything. But it is worthwhile because it is so important that lack of prana, see, prana may not be important, but I want to know it is lack of it or excess of it. Can I, but same as chi, the more practical is a chi in Chinese. Chi can be excess chi or lack of chi. Now you have to release some portions so that the excess or lack will equilibrate with the rest of the system and becomes normal. I want the prana to go everywhere and uniformly and not rush to some place or not go to some places. So that is why I want to know, at least not, I must be able to manipulate prana. Yeah, of course, pranayama. Yes, pranayama, one way of doing it. But a little bit more, if I'm able to see that also, it'll be very nice. So we have to ask the question, what is prana and how to go about manipulating, not necessarily me, but people who are sick. If I send the prana, that's the pranic healing, they'll say, I'm sending prana, your pain goes down. Whether it is prana or some other energy, it doesn't matter, the pain seems to go down. So it is, and also see, this is intellectual curiosity, nobody is going to kill it. If I'm not asking, somebody else is going to ask the question, what is prana? So it is good to know, think about it, know it is, know our limitations on top of it. I do not know prana. Yeah, it looks like electron in systems, electronic systems we're using. Electrons has similar properties, may not be the same. It is somewhat, reflecting what is happening at a very subtle level. That is prana. The next level is ki or chi, and up above is electron transport. Let us shake our head in the right direction.
That was quite a comprehensive answer. And I loved your point about not knowing everything, because otherwise you'd be down at 0 degrees K. I think that is just such a beautiful answer. And it again reconfirms to me that the more we know, the more we realize we don't know. And Abhaya's statement, Katrathu Kaiman Alavu, Kalladadu Ulagalavu, is so clear through your answer. That awareness is, I think, the height of wisdom. We have time for maybe one more question. If yes, Dr. Meena.
Sir, namaste, sir.
Namaste.
Excellent. I don't know what is the adjective to add there, because totally mind blowing. All the electrons, all the metaparticles, or whatever you want to call it, is like bombarded us with so much of information that we feel that mind blown state. Thank you so much, sir, for that wonderful lecture. There's one more question in the chat box. What must have to be the case when one yogi goes into samadhi and the body is not decaying anymore?
What is the status? Why does body decay? Because some of the very, very difficult question, because we have to see why body decays. Not in my case, in the sense I'm getting old. Yeah, it decays in certain ways, but I'm still alive, so to say, right? That alive comes only because Atma is there. Atma is ultimate ruler, enjoyer, and the one who is looking into. So I am training myself to be an onlooker and not a sufferer. That's first thing. But anyway, that's a private problem. So when the Atma moves out, the body functions stops. It goes both ways. When the body function stops, it can't, for example, my heart is not able to pump anymore. It has done it. millions or billions of times, it is simply out of exhaustion, it stops. So then now Atma does not have a house to reside in, it will move away. It's a natural process because I have completed my term this time, and that is what it is. But then it's a normal process also, the body deteriorates. But in the case of yogis, of course, they are yogis who are able to maintain their body. Irrespective, like, it is said that Shankaracharya went to Gudupai, that is going to another body to find out about how the king was living with his queen, and comes back and tells the experience of not this body, which was for him very pure and untouchable, whereas that body has been made use of for gaining certain basic knowledge about relationships, whatever. So he had the capacity. And of course, that's why we go to Jiva Samadhi. People their bodies are still there. That's why, see, most holy people, we don't burn the bodies. First of all, unlike in this case, in our cases, we do not know whether the person is alive or dead. It happened somewhere. I think the Mahaparival, he was asked, is that man dead? Can we do something with the body? Nobody can answer except Mahaparival. The great Kanchi Acharya was with us, because he knows, looking at him mentally, say, okay, now we can take the body. They took the first time, it was wrong. It was not to be disturbed. But anyway, so through that, I can only say through their capacity to hold metabolism, catabolism, everything, and stand still. It comes to a standstill. And apart from that, even insects, etc., do not trouble him. Otherwise, it will deteriorate. They keep away from the body. So this is, as I say, this is a siddhi that they have developed, and we have to respect. I do not know how else to answer that question. Thank you. And before I last say, I have to express my very deep gratitude to Ammaji, and also to Dr. Geetananda, whom I met a few times. And unfortunately, when you're working full time, you don't have time to spend with people who really matter. So unfortunately, I didn't have much time, except a few times I met both of them. And I'm happy to be in their company, and also now know that Amma is doing well, and we can meet her soon. Thank you.
Such a beautiful answer, sir. And I think the whole session has been one of amazing wisdom. And, when we set out on this topic, we thought, you'll just talk about how yoga and modern medicine can come together. But you have actually gone right to the fundamental root of both systems. And I think that is very important, as you put it out, that we have to go to the basic fundamentals in order to find commonality, similarity, and build the edifice on strong foundations. As Patanjali says, Drida Bhumi, that firm foundation has to be there. And I'm sure that all our participants today will carry home this message. And we'll be sharing the recording with those who couldn't come online. We have about 120 plus registered participants, of which about 75 were able to be with us today live. And you have set the bar very high, sir. The very first talk, you have set the bar very high. So the rest of us are going to have to play catch up with you. Thank you for being such an inspiration. You are an inspiration, and the culture of Bharat that tells us that our seniors are to lead the way by giving us direction. You are living that. And I offer our gratitude to you for that. And we hope that soon we'll have you in person at Puducherry. And Ammaji will be so happy to see you for sure.
Thank you. I'll definitely come. Thanks a lot. If I am an inspiration, I am only a mirror to all your activities. Thank you.
So over to Dayanidhi for expressing what we have coming next week.
Thank you, sir. So thank you for this Benavant, wonderful lecture, sir, and really it's brain working session for all the participants. So thank you, sir. And the next coming Thursday, we have the next session, and I'm just share the PPT. The next session. Coming Tuesday, we are going to have
Yes,
sorry
please.
for that. Yeah,
Yeah,
thank you, sir.
yes, yes.
So coming Thursday, we are going to have Professor Ilangovan sir and Dr. Sadbir Kalsa sir with us. So please join on Thursday morning 10:30. We will have a wonderful session on them, and going to close this session with the Loko Samasta prayer. So please join all of you. So Om Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu Sarve Janaha Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so
Thank you.
much to all the participants. Looking forward to the next month of great learning with all of you. Namaste, Dhanyavad, Nandri.
Thank you. Thank you.